Hello, good day everyone. My name is Sherilyn Ferman and I am here to teach you how to play badminton. Badminton can be played with 2 or 4 players. The objective of the game is to score points by successfully hitting the shuttlecock over the net. Though the game has some similarities to tennis, the rules of badminton are distinct and important to know before you take a swing at your first game. So this presentation has 3 parts, which are: the first one is learning the rules, second one is mastering the strokes, and third one is mastering the strategy. So for the part 1, learning the rules, we have: understand the object or objective of the game. Badminton, like tennis, is a racket sport that is played by either 2 players or 2 teams of 2 players each. The objective or object of this game is for you or your team to get 21 points first. You score a point whenever you successfully serve the shuttlecock and your opposing team commits a fault, which means that the team fails to appropriately return the shuttlecock. So itong badminton, pwede siyang laruin ng 2 or 4 players. 2 players yung tinatawag natin na singles, then doubles yung tawag natin kapag 4 players. Ang goal nitong game na to ay makakuha ka or yung team mo ng 21 points first, dahil kung sino makakuha ng 21 points mo na nauna, siya yung i-declare na winner. To win each game, you must earn 21 points first and win by 2 in the process. So if both teams have a score of 20, one team must win by 22-20 and so on. If you and your opponent cannot win by 2 and keep going until the score is 29 all, then the first team to score 30 points wins. The first team to win 2 games wins the match. If the score is 1-1 in games, you must play a third deciding game. Deciding game yung tawag kapag nag-tie kayo sa first and second set. So, yung halimbawa na ang nanalo sa first set is yung team A, then nanalo sa second set is yung team B. Then, kailangan nyo maglaro ng isa pang game, yung third game, yung deciding game, para malaman nyo kung sino yung winner. For the second one, get familiar with the badminton court. The badminton court is 44 feet or 13.4 meter long by 20 feet or 6.1 meter wide. If you're playing singles, you play on the part that is 44 feet or 13.4 meter long but only 17 feet or 5.2 meter wide. The net should be positioned halfway across the court, made of 3/4 inch mesh at the 20 foot or 6.1 meter mark, 17 feet 5.2 for singles, 5 feet 1.5 above the ground. When you're playing doubles, the extra 15 feet or 1.5 meter on the left and right side of the court or the double sidelines are considered fair game for serving and returning. Now, here's what else you need to know. Each side of the court has a right and left service court. The server of one team must serve from one service court to the service court diagonal from it. Players must change courts after each point has been scored. So, sa pagsaserve, kailangan kapag magsaserve ka, kanan sa kanan or diagonally. Hindi pwedeng sa katapat mo. When serving in singles, you can serve the opponent's diagonal service box and the back singles line on that side of the course, but not the wider doubles sideline. When serving in doubles, the player can serve to the opposing team's diagonal service box, including the doubles sideline, but not the singles long service line. So for single service, the receiving court is longer and narrow, and in doubles service, the court is wide and short. After the shuttlecock is successfully served, each team's entire court becomes fair game. The shuttlecock just has to stay within the bounds of the doubles or singles court. Players can score points once a player commits a fault. If a server forces the opponent to take a fault, a point will be given to the server. If the recipient forces a fault to the server, so the server can play it, the recipient will receive the point as well as the recipient becoming the new server for the next play. For the third one, understand the basics of play. Here's what you need to know before you start a badminton game, beyond the court information and the scoring rules. Toss a coin or have another contest to decide which team will be serving first and which side they will play on. So, usually, para malaman kung sino muna ang unang magsaserve or kung sino yung pwedeng mamili kung saang court nila gusto, usually ang ginagawa nila ay nagtotoss ng coin yung mga players. The first serve of a badminton game comes from the right half of the court to the court that is diagonally opposite that court. For the rest of the game, if you have an even number of points, serve from the right. If you have an odd numbers of points, serve from the left. If the serving side commits a fault, then the receiving side gets a point and the serve shifts to that side. So halimbawa, nag-serve ka at nakapag-commit ka ng fault, mapupunta yung score sa kalaban nyo. If the serving team serves and receiving side commits a fault, then the serving team moves from one service court to the other and continues to serve. There is a point scored every serve, unlike in volleyball, for example. In doubles, each team only has one service. So if one player on one team serves and faults, then the shuttle goes to a player on the other team and so on. When a receiving team wins a point and gets the serve, the team does not switch sides but serves from where they are standing. If they win the first service point, then the players switch positions from right to left. After each game, opponents change ends to the court, and the side that won the previous game gets to serve at the start of the next game. Fourth one is understand how a player can get a fault. So there are several reasons that a team or player can earn a fault, and here they are. First one is when the shuttlecock is served, the shuttle must be hit to a point higher or the server's waist. Otherwise, it's a fault. If any part of the racket at the point of string wasn't higher than any part of the serving player's hand, a fault can be given. If the serving team fails to serve the shuttlecock over the net, the shuttlecock must be hit only once by the same player is to be considered fair in badminton. In badminton, you only get one try on each serve. The only exception is if your team gets a let, which is when the shuttlecock hits the net and falls over into the opponent's court. In that case, you can get another try. If you hit the shuttlecock into or under the net at any point in the game, the next one is if the shuttlecock hits you, that will be a fault. If you hit the shuttlecock out of bounds or passes around or under the net to the player on the other side, or shuttlecocks falling on the line can be deemed as fair play. Next one is if you hit the shuttlecock on the ground on your side of the court or had extended beyond the longest service line, this contributes to a fault. If the server fails to serve the shuttlecock into the correct opposing court. If any player attempts to or it may be successful or unsuccessful, obstruct their opponent in any way, this contributes to a fault on that player. The feet of any player must be completely within the service court at the time of play. Otherwise, a fault will be called. If the player is able to touch the badminton net with any piece of equipment including their clothes or any body part, this contributes to fault. So, bawal palang dumikit yung kahit anong body part or kahit clothes ng player dun sa mismong net. Box contribute to a badminton fault too. The fifth one is learn the basic ways to strike the shuttlecock. The standard badminton racket is 26 inches or 66 centimeter long and weights anywhere from 4.5 to 5.5 ounces. Most of them are made with metal and nylon, and you'll need to generate enough energy to effectively strike the shuttlecock with this light racket. The main strokes are the forehand and the backhand, as in tennis, and you'll need a light, quick wrist to effectively strike the shuttle. Here's what you need to know about striking the shuttlecock. First one is it's all about the footwork. See the shuttle and use several small steps to position yourself so that you can easily strike it instead of having to stretch too much. You'll need to practice the backswing, the forward swing and hit, and the follow through in order to hit the shuttle effectively. You should hit the shuttle's round center, not the feathers of the shuttle. A perfect or clear shot. This is the most common shot, and goal is to strike the shuttle in a way that moves your opponent away from the net, which gives you the time to set up your next shot. Practice your drop shot. To hit this shot effectively, you'll have to hit a slow, gentle shot and that makes the shuttle fall just over the net, making it hard to reach for your opponent, no matter how fast he runs. Smash the shuttle. This is a powerful shot that you use to hit a shuttle that is above the height of the net. You'll need to raise your racket behind your back and as if you were going to scratch it. Anticipate the shuttle coming your way and then hit it hard, diagonally down, and if you were smashing it over a fence. So, kung mapapansin nyo, yung smash, yung kalagi ang ginagawa ng mga badminton player na kadalasan ay nagfi-fail ng ibalik ng opponent kapag nag-smash na yung player. Drive the shuttle. This can be a forehand or a backhand shot that makes the shuttle move parallel to the ground, just barely passing over the net, making it hard for your opponent to anticipate or return your shot. Recognize that serves must be able to understand when his opponent looks ready to receive the stroke. The server must not serve when the opponent doesn't seem ready to receive. So, ito, kailangan daw kapag ikaw yung server, kailangan magsaserve ka kapag yung receiver ay ready to receive na. Both players must be standing within the confines of the court with both feet stationary in contact with the ground until the server delivers the ball to their opponent. However, players must not stand on either of any of the lines painted on the ground, for these are considered to be outside of the service court's area. Part 2. Mastering the strokes. The first one is master the grip. The grip is how you hold your racket and it will affect every stroke that you hit. You have two basic grips in the game, one for the forehand and one for the backhand. Here's what you need to know about master the grip or mastering the grip. The forehand grip. Hold the racket with your non-playing hand, pointing the handle toward you with your racket face perpendicular to the floor. Put your hand on the handle as if you were shaking hands with it. Look for a V shape between your thumb and index finger. Rest the handle loosely in your fingers for more flexibility. Shorten the grip and place it closer to the shaft for more control of the racket when you're hitting the shuttle from forecourt and midcourt. Second one is backhand grip. Hold the racket as if you were holding a forehand grip. Then turn it clockwise so that the V shape you formed moves to the right. Put your thumb against the back level of the handle for more leverage and power, resting the racket loosely in your fingers. Again, use a longer grip for clears and a shorter grip for net play. Relax your thumb and use more power from your arm instead of clears, because the extension of your thumb is extremely limited in the short court backhand grip. And you have more time to prepare for a backhand clear than for a mid-court block or net kill, meaning that the leverage of the thumb isn't as important. So, second is master the high and low serve. There are many ways to hit a badminton serve, from the high serve to the backhand serve. Here are the few serves you will need to know. So, there are four main types of services in badminton, and most can be executed with either your forehand or backhand. The first one is low serve, second one is high serve, third is flick serve, and fourth is drive serve, which I will be going to discuss. So, first one I will be going to discuss is the high serve. This is a great serve for moving your opponent back during singles play. It's a little trickier for doubles. You have to use an underhanded forehand for this serve. Relax, bend your knees, standing 2 to 3 feet or 0.06 to 0.09 behind the short service line. Lead with your non-racket leg, placing your racket leg behind it. Move your racket back almost to your shoulder, then swing it forward. Hold the shuttle by the feathers and drop it slightly in front of you. Hit the shuttle with the flat face of your racket and follow through until your racket reaches all the way to the non-racket side of your head. So this is the picture of a high serve. The high serve is a powerful strike upwards in the shuttle with the shuttle that aims to travel a great distance upwards and fall deep at the rear end of the court. Although it is a strong serve and the popular choice of the beginner players, it's a serve that isn't so easy to disguise, especially since you're using a forehand grip. Your opponent will already expect the shuttlecock to land at the back of the court. Do remember that shuttlecocks have to fall within the corresponding service areas, and this is different in singles and doubles. So, dito sa high serve, kapag nag-serve ka based dun sa picture, nasa kaliwa siya, magfo-fall yung shuttlecock dun sa yellow part. Next one is the low serve. This serve is more commonly used during doubles. You can use the forehand or backhand for this motion. For the forehand serve, stand 2 to 3 feet or 0.06 to 0.09 meter behind the service line. Bring your racket back to your waist level and start swinging forward. Hold the shuttle by the feathers and bring it close to meet the racket instead of dropping it. Hit the shuttle at a higher point but still below your waist, and push it with the racket face, trying to make it just skim the tape of the net. For the backhand serve, just lead with your racket leg and your non-racket leg behind with your feet pointing toward your opponent. Use a short back swing and then bring the racket forward, holding the shuttle at the tip of the feathers in front of waist level. Then push the shuttle with the racket face and try to make it skim the tape of the net. Shorten your grip for more control. So, this is an example of low serve. Usually, kapag ako naglalaro ng badminton, ito yung palagi kong ginagawa or ito yung lagi kong siniserve. Kasi, para sa akin, mas madali siya. Kasi nasa harapan ko mismo yung shuttlecock and nakokontrol ko kung saan siya magpo-fall. This low serve is almost a gentle tap over the net with the shuttle, with the aim of flying just over the net, yet falling just over the front line of his service court. It must not be too high or predictable, otherwise it would be easy for your opponent to an outright smash or net kill. So ito, kapag nag-serve ka ng low serve, magfo-fall lang yung shuttlecock just dun lang sa unahan mismo ng net. The third one is master the flick and drive serve. The flick serve. Use this for a quick serve do so sparingly. Use forehand or a backhand acting like you're going to push the shuttle in a typical low serve, but instead use your wrist to quickly flick the shuttle over. So this is the example of the flick serve. This flick serve is also played upwards but a much lesser attitude. It is most commonly for players to use their backhand to execute the flick serve, and the trajectory is lower as this grip has less power. The whole point of the backhand flick serve is deception. By mixing your serves up and making it look like you're doing a low serve. For this reason, serving with your backhand is very popular with competitive players. It becomes hard for your opponent to predict if you're going to do a flick or a low serve, as your stroke will look exactly the same until the point of contact. So itong flick serve na to is mukha rin siyang, yung way na pagsaserve niya is mukha ring low serve ba, pero yung shuttlecock ay magkaiba ng nilalagpakan. Kasi dun sa kanina, dun lang siya sa may unahan ng net, but yung ngayon, yung flick serve, dun siya sa may parting likuran or malapit na dun sa outside. The drive serve. This is an attacking serve perfect for singles or doubles. This will make the shuttle travel at a flatter angle at a faster pace. Use an underarm forehand, standing a bit farther from the service line, leading with your non-racket leg, placing your racket a bit below waist level, bringing it backhand parallel to your waist. Swing the racket forward and follow through as you drop the shuttle slightly sideways to your body, hitting it and letting it pass the net at a flatter angle. The drive serve. This is an attacking serve that is used by top badminton players like Lin Dan. The idea is to hit the shuttle directly at your opponent, limiting their return options and catching them off guard. Winning you easy points. It's a good change of pace but is also risky, as if your opponent is prepared, he could just smash the shuttlecock back at you. This serve is executed with your forehand through underarm action and following through. The shuttle should be dropped by sideways rather than in front of your body and hit flatter. Now that you've determined the type of serve you want to make, here are 4 tips on how to execute these serves as well. So this is the example of drive serve. Drive serve. Doubles drive serve. This is the difference between the 4 types of serve. As you can see, the direction of the shuttlecock are different at each serve. So, sa makikita nyo, iba't iba yung serve at iba't iba yung pinagbabagsakan ng shuttle. Yung low yung pinakamababa, drive yung second to the lowest, flick yung second to the highest, and yung high is the highest form of serve. The fourth one is master the forehand. Once you see that the shuttle is coming low and in front of you, you'll need to hit that forehand to beat your opponent. Here's what you have to do. Drop the racket head down and behind you. Make sure that the racket extends out behind you. Keep your knees bent and ready to move. Move forward with your racket foot. Keep your arm nearly straight as you swing the racket, snapping your wrist at the last possible second before you hit the shuttle. And have an open racket face and swing the racket upward and generate momentum. Follow through until your racket hits near your opposing shoulder. Fifth one is master the backhand. To hit a backhand, you have to wait for the shuttle to approach your backhand side. Here's what you need to do. Move on your left foot and step your right foot around in front of your body. If you are right-handed and your backhand is on your left side, that is, making sure that your right shoulder faces the net. Behind your right elbow and draw your right hand across your body to get ready to swing the racket, moving your weight to your back left foot, keeping your right foot loose and limber. Shift your weight to your forward foot, straightening your elbow as you swing the racket forward until the racket face connects with the shuttle, following through the move and racket forward past your right shoulder. Sixth one is learn to slice your shots. A slice can help slow down the shuttle or change its direction. This is a more advanced skill that will make it hard for your opponent to know if you're going to be able to return the shuttle. Slice your net shots. Start the forward motion as usual and then move the racket inward as you slice it perpendicular to the center or of the birdie, thus slicing the shuttle and making it spin cross court instead of moving forward as your opponent would expect it to do. If service of the shuttlecock from the service racket causes the bird to touch the net and then go over, play must stop and then the play is done over. However, if the shuttlecock happens to touch the net then go over further into the play, the stroke is good and the bird can remain playable. Slice your drop shots. Just slice the racket, moving it perpendicular to the center of the shuttle when it's in the air. This will slow down the shuttle, making it quickly fall on the opponent's side near the net. Seventh one is learn to hit an overhead shot, also known as a smash shot. This shot allows you to use your power and to hit the shuttle at the top of its arc. To do this, aim your free hand up near the shuttle, then swing the racket over your head with your racket hand, smashing the center of the birdie before it falls, directing it down on your opponent's court. Aiming is important here. Try to aim the shuttle in a place that will be hard for your opponent to reach. Eighth one is recognize some of the obvious errors made during the serving that can and can't be considered as faults. Servers must be able to get the bird over in their hit. If the bird gets attempted to be hit but is missed, a fault can be changed or can be charged. This do happens to the best of all people. So itong fault na sinasabi dito, which is yung if the bird gets attempted to be hit but is missed, a fault can be charged. Ito yung kapag halimbawa nito is sala yung receive mo, fault siya. Or sa pagsuserve, pag sala yung iyong serve, considered as yung points sa kalaban mapupunta. If the bird is held on the racket during the execution of the stroke, or if the bird gets hit twice, this is a fault. So, unlike sa volleyball, pwede mo siyang i-hit ng 2 times, but dito sa badminton, hindi pwede. Magiging considered as fault siya kapag 2 times mong na-touch yung shuttlecock. Part 3 of this report is mastering the strategy. First one is make sure to always return the stance of readiness after each shot. After you return their shot, return to the middle of the court. So if they hit it to your left or right, you have more time to react and run to their shot and return it back. So stay on your toes and slightly move left and right so your energy and momentum is still active and you can be ready to run for the next move. So, sinasabi dito na after mong i-receive yung shot or yung shuttlecock, kailangan bumalik ka sa iyong stance of readiness. Ibig sabihin, dapat maging ready ka if ever na ma-return yung shuttlecock sa'yo. So, kailangan mong maging ready. Kailangan ibalik yung readiness mo. This stance means that your feet should be even with your shoulders and parallel and your toes should be pointed toward the net. Keep your knees bent slightly and your racket in your hand with your arms across in front of your body. Don't stand as if you were just normally standing up or your body will be too far or too stiff to move well. So, wag ka basta-bastang tatayo na lang dyan na parang normal lang na nakatayo. Kailangan dapat ready ka sa mga next move ng kalaban. Kailangan mahabol mo yung shuttlecock kung saan man yun magpunta. Second one is get ready to move anywhere, anytime. Be prepared to run up to the net, run cross court, back up all the way to the back service line, or to reach the shuttle from any position. The element of surprise is important here, so watch out for your opponent's tricks. So, as you can see, nakakita naman na tayo lahat ng badminton court, which is malawak talaga siya. So, kailangan kapag maglalaro ka, ready ka to move anywhere and anytime. Kasi kapag hindi ka ready to move anywhere and anytime, malaki yung chance na matatalo ka kasi ito yung pinaka-importante dito na element. Third one is go for the overhead as often as you can. The overhead smash is the most powerful shot in the game because it allows you to hit the shuttle as hard and as fast as you can, making it as difficult as possible for your opponent to return your shot. Look for opportunities to hit this shot when the shuttle is being returned high in the air. So, sabi dito, kailangan kapag binigyan ka ng opportunity na gawin yung smash shot or yung overhead smash, kailangan gawin mo kasi ito yung pinaka-powerful shot sa game sa badminton. Dahil pag ginawa mo yung smash shot, malaki yung chance na hindi na yun maibalik ng kalaban kasi na-hit mo na siya ng hard and fast as you can. Fourth one is keep your opponents running around. Don't hit the shuttle right back to your opponent every time, or you'll just be making it easier for him or her to hit the shuttle right back. Your goal should be to move your opponent or opponents up and down the court or back and forth across the court so they can get winded and tired and don't have the opportunity to properly return the shuttle. So, dito, isa pang goal mo dito dapat is pagurin mo yung kalaban. Kailangan yung serve mo or yung pagre-return mo ay dapat pabago-bago ng directions para mapagod sila kakahabol hanggang sa mawala na sa kanila yung stance of readiness na sinasabi ko kanina. Next is have a method to your madness. Don't just aim to hit the shuttle back and hope that your opponent messes up. Have an idea of where you are going to hit it, how you're going to hit it, and why you're going to hit in a certain way. If you just blindly swing at the shuttle, you won't get very far. So, dito sa have a method to your madness, kailangan yung aim mo is hindi lang ma-return yung shot. Kailangan ang aim mo din dito, kailangan planado. Planado yung iyong bawat pagre-return ng shot sa kalaban para mas malaki yung chance mo na manalo ka. 6 is exploit your opponent's weakness. If you want to win, then you have to make your opponent play your game and make him as uncomfortable as possible. If your opponent has a weak backhand, as most beginners tend to have, hit the shuttle repeatedly toward his backhand. If he's slow in his feet, move him around, and if he loves to play near the net, hit your shots long and hard. If your opponent loves to smash shot, don't hit the shuttle in the air. Be attuned to your opponent's strengths and weaknesses so you can win as easily as possible. So, dito sa number 6, which is your exploit your opponent's weaknesses, kailangan kung saan mahina yung kalaban mo, yun yung lagi mong gagawin. For example, dito is, hindi kayang i-receive ng kalaban mo yung smash shot. So, kailangan kapag nagkaroon ka ng opportunity na i-hit yung shuttle ng overhead smash, gawin mo so that yung points ay mapunta agad-agad sa'yo. It's important to observe your opponent closely. Whether you're starting a game or just rallying for fun, be on the lookout for your opponent's strengths and weaknesses as early as possible. So, makikilala mo naman sila habang in-game ka kasi makikita mo kung paano sila maglaro. 7 and last is mix it up. Though always aiming for the overhead is nice or hitting most forehands, cross court because that's your best shot is a good idea. If you do the same thing every time, your opponents will begin to catch you on pretty fast. It's important to keep the element of surprise going, so your opponents are likely to be caught off guard and won't quite ever know what to expect when they play against you. So, ang sabi dito, maganda na kapag lagi mong ini-aim na magawa mo yung smash shot, pero hindi maganda kung palagi mo yung ginagawa kasi mahuhuli ng kalaban mo. Mas madali na nilang ma-return yung shuttlecock kasi kilala ka na nilang maglaro. This includes where you serve, which shots you prefer, and where you tend to hit the shuttle. So, kailangan makip pa rin natin yung element of surprise para more chance of winning. So, that's the end of my report. I hope you learned something from us and thank you so much for listening.